Brother, you're looking good, man. Sorry we missed each other at Boots and Hearts. I was just there for the Saturday, and of course, let's put it this way. Thank God I brought a second shirt with me because
Yes.
my shirt that I had on was so heavy of sweat. I literally could have made a lake. It was blazing hot. What day were you performing, man?
I was on Friday, so yeah, just missed you. And I actually spent Saturday afternoon on the lake with my wife. We ended up renting kayaks and went out on a lake, like not Lake Simcoe, but the other one, and it was beautiful. We spent the afternoon out there because you're right, it was so hot. We're like, let's get out in the water this afternoon. It was great.
That was smart move, man. How was Boots and Hearts for you, man?
Oh, dude, it was so great. It was so great to be back. This is my fourth time on the festival, so they and these folks have been so kind to us. You talk about wonderful people that support Canadian country music. The whole Dunford family, Brooke Dunford, Eva and Stan. They put on a first class festival. I played it in 2013, 2016, 18, and then we were scheduled for 2020. And I'm just so thankful that it held on and everything worked out for this year because, man, what a blast. Those fans were incredible.
How has it been coming out of the pandemic for you and finally getting back to shows? I think you did a couple of virtual, didn't you?
I did. I was doing those, I guess, in the fall of 2020 or 2021.
I
Goodness.
know it's all a blur now.
Yeah. They were fun. There was some way to, we all pivoted and tried to stay engaged with our fans. But it was, dude. I'll be honest. Like that first show back this summer was my first show with my band since
Wow.
2019.
Wow.
So it was really more like 3 years, and it was emotional, dude. Like it was like I had a moment. A few songs in, I'm like, man, I got all the feels, as the kids say. I was like, man, this is heavy, because I don't want to say that we took it for granted, but maybe we did. I mean, who would have thought that we wouldn't be able to do this, right? So it was, and I know, I mean, we're not too far apart in our careers and industries. We in the sense that we both go out and talk to people, and you cover entertainment, and this is what you do. So I'm sure it wasn't an easy road for you as well.
It was crazy, man. And, I do say thank God for Zoom, okay? Because
Yeah.
it got us through a lot. And as we're doing it now, I'm still using it. But yeah, I'm still going out from time to time and doing the one-on-ones in person and whatever
Yeah.
because I think it's still important. But one place that I wish I was going to, I'm not going to be able to make it this year. But I know you got to go, man. And you got to go because there's a particular reason or reasons why you have to go. Folks are going, what are they talking about? Where are you going to be heading? And why are you heading there?
Yeah, well, thank you. I assume you're talking about the CCMAs, the Canadian Country Music Awards, out in Calgary this year. I'm really thrilled and humbled and honored to be heading back with a nomination this year. It's really really cool. When you to be nominated. I've been nominated many times. Managed to walk away a little bit with some awards, but it's been a minute. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a minute. So it's really cool because this is we're nominated for a really special record that had been a long time coming. To be recognized for it is, especially by my peers, it means a lot to me.
I'm just here. Do you remember what the nomination is and for what song?
So it's the category is alternative country album of the year.
Album.
Uh,
Okay.
so that's what it's called this year. And in years past, it had been called the Roots Country Album of the Year. Because there's projects that don't fit in. I mean, they're all really cool projects over the years, but they don't fit into that mainstream project, and that mainstream category that's limited to there's only you can only nominate so many things. So this is really this record fits perfectly in that category because that's exactly what it is. It's an alternative country album. It's not a mainstream album. It very very purposefully wanted to make this record. It's a record that's been in my heart for a very long time, probably close to a decade or more. Truthfully, I'm a really folks that know me really well know that I'm a pretty old soul when it
Yeah.
comes to music. I from the beginning of my career, I mean, I just wanted to be Vince Gill my whole career. Everything I did, I measured against what would Vince think about this, you know? And that's very strange. It's a very odd thing, and I don't know where that comes from. But I just really wanted to, you know, make the records that he made my whole career. But in an effort to be a part of the mainstream, I looked for other things that I could gravitate to be on the radio, to be mainstream. And I'm really proud of you know, a lot of the stuff that we've done, the hits that we've had over the years. But in an effort to do all that, this kind of stuff always got placed on the back burner for trying to fit into the mainstream. So it wasn't until, you know, COVID and 2020, I turned 40. I finally gave myself permission to do the record I always wanted to make.
What's the album called? And I'm curious though. You mentioned about COVID. Would if COVID happened, would this album have been put together?
Yeah, if it didn't happen, that's a good question. I mean, I would like to think eventually I would have got to it, but it was really nice to get off the treadmill of life for a minute and have the time to do it and to do it right. The album's called Diamonds in the Desert, and this was a concept. This was a song that lived in my head for nearly a year. I had the song exactly the way it sounds on the record, and it only existed in my head and my heart. I was writing it like driving to other co-writes, driving around. I had this very Eagles sounding chorus. There are diamonds in the desert. I mean, I wanted to get the Eagles to come in and guest on it, but they were busy on tour, so it was like a little tough, which I understand. But it was like, you know, I claimed to have these influences, right? Like the Eagles and Tom Petty and Vince Gill and these days John Mayer and stuff. So it was like, so why don't I have a record that sounds like those things?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not. It's not going to be on mainstream country radio, but a record like this couldn't have existed 5 or 7 years ago. You know, it'd end up on a Walmart discount bin or something like that. You know, it's like all of these cool songs that could be 5.5 minutes long, you know, would never be played on mainstream radio. But now with streaming and DSPs, you know, I can have a song that's this, you know, cool singer songwriter acoustic sounding thing called End of the Rain, and it's on one of the biggest playlists in America called Coffee Country House or Country Coffee House. And it's it's those kind of playlists that I really hoped this record would find its way to.
You know, especially when it comes to Canadian country music, what is mainstream? I mean, Dean Brody for years has been, you know, putting reggae music into his sound. You know, so many other artists have been mixing so many things. I mean, I remember doing interviews. What was it, a couple of years ago when what was the album again? And it was in the States where they were taking American country artists and American hip hop artists, and they were combining their music together. So, is there really such a thing as a quote mainstream country sound? And I ask that not just because of those two subjects, but then when I'm talking to other artists who might be doing a 1940s style of country music,
Yeah.
and they're doing it now. So, what is mainstream country? Because if there's ever a genre that has really allowed itself to be experimental, it's country music.
Well, I know what you're saying, and I think that I would answer that in two ways. Number one is it really depends on the artist and your level of, you know, influence on the, you know, and star power on the industry. I mean, if you are Eric Church, if you are like you know, a really powerful name with a lot of star power, you have a little creative license. You and your producers and your record label have some license to experiment with that stuff. If somebody else tried it and they try to point, well, Eric Church did this, it might not work for you. They might not go. There really is a production sonic quality to there's trends, there's sonic production elements and stuff, you know, that things have to hold up against other things, you know, so and when we produce records, we're aware of that. Yeah, there really always has been a bit of a sonic quality to mainstream. For example, like on this record of mine, like we purposely like have the drums sound pretty like they're kind of like what would you say? Like they're not processed. They're very like dead sounding drums, like 70s records and stuff. And we, in a cool way, we wanted that on purpose. So it's a throwback sound. I just don't think that some of those things, some of those sonic elements would fly in an element on mainstream country radio where everything is seems to be very exciting and big production and stuff. If that makes sense.
It makes sense, but you know what? Here's the thing that I will still spin on you. Um, I remember I was waiting to hear Megan Patrick hit the stage. And of course, there's always a DJ playing at the main stage. Well, that main DJ was playing techno. That main DJ was playing hip hop. Hell, I heard some Jackson 5 going. And I didn't see anybody walking away or running off. They were all still dancing and singing and moving to the music. So that's why I go to myself when you're saying, and I understand what you're saying about, it's got to be main radio. I think radio needs to open its ears a little bit more, because if they're really paying attention to fans, your album, congratulations in being nominated on the alternative country, is just straight up great country.
Thank you so much, man. Well, you know what? People have been saying what you're saying for literally my whole career. They're like, radio needs to really do this. And the truth of it is, we don't get to tell radio what they play on their stations. We just we make the best music we can, and you have to try to find your way through it all. But the cool thing is, I've been so fortunate. Radio has been really great to me over the course of my career. They've played so many songs, and to be out on the road this summer and to have like 16 years worth of hit songs that we can play in a 75 to 90-minute show is something that I'm really, really proud of and very thankful for. So it is no slight on mainstream radio whatsoever. In fact, what I'm saying is with this stuff is like, I don't expect, like I didn't go into this record, making this record, like expecting everyone should play it. It's just like, I'm going to do whatever I want, and I expect you all to play it. It's like, no, that's kind of arrogant. I wouldn't be so bold. But what's cool is that it's not the only way to reach your fans and reach listeners anymore. You are exactly right. When it comes to people, and we're not talking about like the decision makers and the gatekeepers at radio, when it comes to people, man, you are absolutely right. People listen to Chris Stapleton and they listen to Morgan Wallen or Luke Bryan. They don't choose. They don't say like, hey man, I listen to Chris Stapleton because that's what real music sounds like. No. Maybe some people do, but I think most people are like, they listen to Chris, they listen to Maren Morris, they listen to Jackson 5 or whatever, man. And to another really great point, what was really cool, man, I did this post on my social media after the Super Bowl this year, when they had all the great hip hop artists of the 90s on the Super Bowl, because it really, tell me what you think about this. This really occurred to me. I thought, well, I'm a small town country kid. I grew up on 90s country and blah, blah, blah. I forgot how much of an influence and how much I love like all those great hip hop artists of the 90s, and how much that was a soundtrack to every basement party, every backyard, every summer night, chasing girls around and stuff with my buddies. Those songs were right beside Alan Jackson.
And I've said this a million times. The two best storytellers is country music and hip hop. I've said it a million times. I will die saying that too. It's the absolute truth. Tour-wise, my friend, what is going on as we're leading up to the CCMAs and, of course, the rest of 2022?
Lots of dates in Ontario left yet.
Yes.
Lots of stuff in Ontario this year. Really cool, man. I'm flying out today, actually. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but I'm flying out today. I'm playing Saturday night in Seaforth 4th Rib Fest. My pal Eric Etheridge is going to be opening.
Oh, cool.
We've got another date. We've got a date in Ayers Cliff, Quebec. We've got it just an hour and a half from Montreal the following weekend on August 27th. And then we've got another show coming up with a whole weekend with Gord Bamford and Jason McCoy, the Live Laugh Festival. All the details are on my website at jasonblaine.ca. Follow me on Instagram, Jason Blaine Official, and look for that blue check mark.
New music coming up soon?
Yeah. I've been piecing together songs, as I've been flying around the country this year. I would like to add a few more songs to my Diamonds in the Desert record and press a vinyl to tour with. I've always wanted to do that. And then talking about mainstream, I've got some other songs too that we're gonna go after. That mainstream radio play again here on another project coming up. So yeah, lots on the go.
I love it. Last question. Any word yet if you're going to be performing at the CCMAs? Do we know anything yet?
I'm actually going to be performing a couple of events. Fender Guitars reached out to me, and I'm going to be doing a jam with Fender. So that's really cool. I've always wanted people to think of me as a guitar player as well, and so for them to reach out for me to play their showcase is going to be really cool.
Get the T-shirts, man. I've got a couple of Fender shirts. Love them. Get the T-shirts. It's so funny. I was going to wear my Fender T-shirt, my red, white, blue one. I should have worn it. Oh, man, I'm kicking myself. Next time when we do this again, man. But either way, brother, congratulations on the nomination. Just love what you're doing, man. Love the positivity. And sorry I can't be up there in Calgary. I just refuse to fly until next year until they get this all straightened out.
I don't believe you. It's a necessary evil, but dude, Rudy, I thank you so much, man. I always enjoy our talks, brother. I'm so thankful to my publicist Sam, who always keeps us connected, man. And I follow you on social media. I love what your posts are all about too, man. It's great to see you.
Always, my friend. You take care. Be safe, and congrats.